Well, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Scrap Time. Y'all complain that we are not regular enough, and here we are. We've done a couple weeks in a row. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, coach of Atlanta FaZe, former professional championship-winning Call of Duty player, Mr. James Crowder, aka Crowder. And today we have a special guest, um, former analyst. And Chris and I have known him for a very long time. He used to be an analyst for FaZe Clan, analyst for Atlanta FaZe, works for a Breaking Point. Now we have Mr. Austin, aka EasyMac. Austin, how are you doing today, my guy?
Doing good, man.
I see you got a lot of facial hair going on these
Yeah,
days.
dude, I like it. I
was
like
like, I
the
don't
facial
remember
hair
you having-
gimmick. I like this. This is good stuff.
I grew out the fur originally because I got back in the hockey this year.
Oh, really?
Hockey again.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
And then yeah, I went through all of November. I was like, you know what? I've never had facial hair before, so I'm gonna give it a shot. And I haven't.
So
haven't
this is
covered
like No Shave November. Something like, so from November 1st you didn't shave, and then here we are.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
that,
this
dude.
is pretty much all I can grow. Like this is.
Nah,
most I ever
I'm
have.
about the same as you. Like like the goatee is not bad, and then like my cheeks are patchy, but that looks good. It's better than mine. I like it, dude. You need to keep it.
Chris, if you can turn,
Yeah, I'm gonna turn it up.
turn Austin up a little bit. But anyway, so here we are. You know, it's been a pretty long off season, and we are literally days away from matches. They start. We're recording this Tuesday morning, Friday at 3 p.m. East Coast time. Matches will start. I know it's been a long off season. Start with you, Chris. Like, are you excited to see your team play off against Boston? Match one on Friday.
Of course. I mean, match one should be fun. Just in general, just to watch teams play again. I think I was on the Toronto podcast yesterday. We were talking about other matchups, and like that Seattle LA Thieves matchup is a good team. I think both of those teams are like teams to look for. There's a bunch of good matchups coming up. I'm just excited to obviously watch like actual competition again. Scrims are fun and stuff, but you know, we've been playing really good in scrims, so I want to like get to the matches and stuff, like, and then see how we play in matches and all that, and kind of get back into the season. So I'm stoked. I can't wait. And I think this year in this league and the way everything's going, I think it's going to be a really good year.
You agree, Austin?
Yeah, I'm actually. It's funny how like you hate league matches at the end of the year, but at the beginning of the year you love them.
Yeah.
And like I can't wait for week one. Even though I think this week's 3-4-4. So there's actually a lot of really good matchups though on that Friday. So it's like a nice like welcome back.
Yeah, feeling that. Chris, you might need to turn Austin up a little bit more just to max volume. But yeah, I mean, so you know, we're excited. We're going to talk a little bit on matches at the end, but we have a lot to go through on the show chat. We're going to bang through a bunch of stuff. So let's get into, since we have in the show, Austin, I want to get to and talk about BPL. That's been a big project that you've been working on. I think has been well received by the community. I think we have a lot to discuss. I want to, before we talk about the split and who won and all that stuff, future plans, I want to back up and kind of ask you kind of how you got this idea, where it started, and how long you've been working on to get this thing like rolled out and locked and loaded.
So originally, this was kind of based off of Tarek's Pro City. Same thing as Face It, Champions Queue in League of Legends. There's actually been a lot of them across like every esport, but we've never really had one outside of like game battles, which is just a ladder. And last year, players started getting back in the eights around like March, I think. And we were trying to get everyone to start playing eights again, to start getting reps before the season was over. And I actually made the Discord then. So the Discord's been made since last March. And I couldn't get all the players to like buy into it because originally it was the same issue we had on day one where the players really didn't know how to use it and how it was set up, and they just assumed like, yeah, regular eights is easier to do it. Let's just do it that way. So I knew I had to get a prize pool to get everyone to start off to do it, and that's pretty much where the idea came from. And then every year we usually do a tournament at the beginning of the year. Last year we had BP Next, which was like an amateur tournament. The year before that we had an S&D Invitational. So then this year we'll do this one and then see how it goes.
Did you expect that it would be this well received, like when you rolled it out?
I knew it was kind of risky because it just depended on how the players bought into it. Because the players ended up buying into it really well, like a lot. So like they were playing a lot of matches, which is good because an issue like the Call of Duty League has right now is there is really nothing for players to stream outside of practice. And nowadays, when the competition's so high, no one streams practice anymore. Yeah. So players don't like streaming ranked because usually it's just a bunch of cheaters. So the goal was to give players something to stream outside of practice, and when that happens, the fans are obviously going to love that because you can start getting all these streams coming up. So that's why I was kind of really excited for it, and I knew if that happened, then it would be good. But originally, it was supposed to just be a one-off split. Like it was just supposed to be 2 weeks and done going into the season. And about one day in, the challengers were all asking for one. So now we have 6 servers across 5 different regions. So I didn't expect that. That's something I really did not expect.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Grace. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to fix the audio, but I think I got it good now. But I was gonna say, yeah, I mean, everything. I feel like the players buying into it. It's funny what Austin said. Like, dude, it seems like that. All that Discord stuff, especially because a lot of players in Call of Duty use TeamSpeak and they don't use Discord. It seems so confusing. But like, yeah, no, Austin. I mean, bro, as soon as people got it, like even like all the FaZe guys and anyone I've talked to, they think it's like so elite that you can just like queue and like you're good to go. Like I haven't done it in the old van section yet. I still need to, but like just everyone that I've talked to think like that idea of just being able to queue and wait and like you don't have to deal with any of the BS of people walking away and this and that and like trying to get people to like actually join the TeamSpeak to pick teams. Like I think it's elite. So I mean everyone I've talked to in that sense thinks it's freaking elite. But it's so funny because to get like all the players that are so used to TeamSpeak like onto Discord and like once you figure it out, it's good. But all the players love it. I mean, yeah, dude, I think it's sick that like even like down to the Challengers League and all that stuff, like there's just so many people trying to do it. And I think I heard you talk about like potentially doing like promotions and stuff, like all that. Yeah. I think that's awesome, bro.
Yeah. So how it's set up right now, because again, like I didn't expect to do the Challengers one. So the Challengers one has been running for about a week, and even that one's been really surprising because how it's set up currently is we have an open section for the challengers, we have an advanced section which is supposed to be the top 40 seeds and challengers, and then there's a premier section which is the top 20 seeds. And then the idea is that if you get in the top 3 in premier, you can get promoted to the pro one, and then kind of have that path to pro. But we have 10,000 players now in the challengers one.
Oh my gosh. Wait, already? Yeah. 10,000? Wow.
Just in the NA, we have around 16,000 across all regions now because we have an APAC one, we have a EU one, we have a MENA, which is Middle East and Northern Africa, and then now we just opened up a South Africa one last night. Yeah, and across all of them, I think we're getting close to 16K.
Wait, that's fire.
So crazy.
Yeah, so even the NA one originally, so like right now there's like 100 players in Premier, there's 250 in Advanced, and then there's 7,000 or there's like 8,000, 9,000 in Open. So like I need to like change the plans already because the server outgrew the original plan I had. So now I'm like I have to like put in like a main, intermediate, Advanced, and Premier. So I have to like even separate it even more. But the whole goal is to have like 2-week splits, 4-week splits where players can get promoted every like 2 weeks. You can kind of like move up the ladder. Yeah. And then find a way for them to get to Premier.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the cool thing about being able to do that is just having like it's like a way to like kind of climb the ladder like in a much more doable way than trying to get into the CDL itself sometimes because it's so hard to like showcase your talent. So yeah, no, that's awesome. You're doing a very good thing for the community. I love it.
Yeah, it's like one issue I knew from game battles. I don't know if you guys remember. I expect you guys to remember. Back in game battles, you could like post on the forum that you were looking for a team.
Yeah.
Like the OG game battles.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then there was like Twitter accounts where you could like try to like find a team and like request scrims and stuff. We don't really have that nowadays. So like if you're like a solo trying to find a team or like a duo like trying to find more players, like it's actually really hard. And like that's kind of like we're trying to give people opportunities to get more into competitive because like if they come in, start playing matches, they can find other people they like playing with. It's kind of like ranked to an extent like that. And then hopefully we can give more people opportunities and give them more experience playing with better players, which kind of like gets them moving up the ladder.
OGs remember the Sean Abner Twitter account. That's also
right.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, it seems like you guys, expect this to be successful, but didn't really expect it to blow up in a meaningful way in the community as far as their participation in these queues. So I'm happy to hear that you've got a lot of plans going forward. So to confirm, like I know that you guys announced this original split and it ended on Sunday. Like, it seems like you guys are doing our split. Like, do you know when that officially that's going to start, or you guys are still working on a DVD start for that?
So we're still working on that. Ideally, my goal is to get do about $5,000 splits per month for the pros. So have it running throughout the year, and then we could do like more creative stuff in the off season. But as of right now, we have some meetings this week, but the gap in the schedule I see is like right after the second week. What is it? It ends on the 17th of December, and then there's about almost a month break. So right now, my personal goal is to get it kicking back up around that time, so then we can have something going over the holidays.
Yeah.
But I still have like the server's still open for them to use, and most of them actually joined the challengers one because the challengers one there's thousands of matches every day. So the all the pros join the challengers one to play in the premier one. But they're still open to play in the Discord. We're not going to reset the elo until we have a firm plan for split 2, and then go from there. And then hopefully that goes into monthly splits where we can get a more formalized like structure going, and then get more formalized like qualifier to get to there. So that's the goal.
Sweet.
Has anyone from like CDL or Activision like reached out since this thing has been rolled out, or has that been like pretty quiet
Yeah,
on that front?
yeah, that's been like one of the parties that like reached out to us. I won't say like too much, but like they were actually really receptive. Because how you like go through getting a tournament for the pros is you have to kind of apply for it, and I was kind of worried that I wasn't going to get approval for this because obviously it's all the pro players, and there is a chance like let's say like Tyler is captain and all of the other FaZe players are in the queue.
Yeah.
There is a chance like you could get like a full team. So I was like a little bit worried that stuff like that, or like stuff like competing against like certain aspects that are in Call of Duty, like I thought maybe I wouldn't get it, but they were extremely supportive from the start. They actually really liked the idea, and then they've actually talked to me about it since. But pretty much there's been a lot of interest. It's just like going through and kind of planning out how to do it correctly for like the future, because everything's kind of, it's still only been a week since I opened up the challengers one. It's only been 2 weeks since the pro one was open, so it's really fresh still.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you're also like, I mean, I don't see how anyone would see the idea that you were like, that obviously you came up with and now are executing and like not be receptive of it. I feel like it's such a good idea. And also it's cool too, because so many people ask like how you become a pro nowadays. And it used to just be like, yeah, you played GBs and then you played, wagers and then you play tournaments and then you like obviously try to. But it's like now I feel like if you keep doing what you're doing and obviously it keeps going the way it is, like, which I think it will, like you're literally providing like the path to become a pro player. Like the amount of people that are going to use this system probably, and especially because you were saying, like the GB forums trying to find teams and all that, like, yeah, now that you can find teammates, find people, like create friendships and all that stuff and then go through that, like I'm very curious to see how it turns out, because I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of people that come up through this system now of like trying to prove themselves through all of this world, and then obviously like get known and then, climb the ladder to becoming one of the best players. Like I think that's going to be like the new path to pro. Like I really think this will probably be like the new like way that most people become a pro player, if that's what they're going to, or like a high tier challenger is just by climbing through this system. That's awesome.
Getting noticed and getting spotted. Yeah. I mean, Austin knows because I know you follow like CS and Val, but like this practical format is worked in those ones. It's servicing like elite talent that's now on championship winning teams in both those games, and I expect that to happen to COD. Like it's like someone's gonna grind through and get picked up by top AM team or Fry, or someone who's a like kind of mid tier AM is going to play this and promote all the way up to the top and like start frying pros, and they're gonna be like, when they decide mid-season want to make a roster change, they might choose that player over somebody else. So I'm very curious to see how it works. I do want to bring one thing up real quick. You don't need to say too much on this, Austin, but everybody keeps asking about it in my fucking chat. So we'll bring it up.
Ben.
Jesus. Obviously, and Chris, if you don't mind boosting my volume a little bit, because I think some people are complaining.
Now you're low.
Yeah, people are saying I'm a little bit low.
Okay.
But I did want to give you a platform. I know a lot's been said about some sort of the sort of at the top level of the queue, the player pool. Do you want to speak on quickly kind of how those decisions work and sort of how stuff gets decided? Because I think there's been some confusion around some of the drama on players as the player pool forward as far as like kind of solidify the top level.
Yeah, so originally, before the game even came out, I got like a player council. I kind of like took the idea from, again, like Face It and Pro City, because originally those ones had issues where it was too open and the pros didn't play it. They ended up going to play something else instead. It was a major issue actually for Face It when ESEA was still around, with Rank S. And so I had a player pool originally, and we decided like I'm gonna invite some top amateurs. We're gonna get some of the retired pros in. It will be fun. And then day one, the queue opened at I think like 7 or 8 o'clock, and almost every game was like mostly amateur and retired pros. And basically, what happened was the pros were just like, "What is this?" They didn't really like that. It's not that they didn't like that. It's just they didn't understand like usually eights like they get to choose who's playing and then they get to play. And this was a little bit different because how it is you just enter the queue as soon as there's 8 people, you play. It kicks you into a lobby and then you start playing. And so day two, I knew I had to like reset, so I kicked most of the amateurs. I kicked a lot of people, and I was like, okay, it's just gonna be the pros. I'm gonna like they're gonna get in, they're gonna see it, they're gonna play it. And so the second day was all pro matches pretty much. And by the end of the day, I think they played. We had like 2, 3 lobbies going the entire night. And I basically like talked to them, and I was like, "Hey guys, like I'm not the one playing the game. I want to get your guys' feedback on who you guys want in this to keep playing. Because at the end of the day, like this first split, I needed the pros to buy in. I need them to play because if they don't play, like there is no BPL after that. So like that's why I was like, I have to get them in, and then once they start playing it, they'll understand. And then since then, we've almost got, I think we have 15, 16 challengers players in, and then basically since then we've just been doing like fixes for the player base. So we have kicked other people. I think I've kicked a total of like 6 or 7 players over the week that were either just like not at the performance level for the pros to play with or weren't active. Like even I had to temporarily pause Real because he was in Spain, because his ping was just too high. It just wasn't fun for his teammates. Like whoever got him on his team was having
that's
issues.
tough.
Scrims has been
Yeah,
fucking crazy. Yeah.
because he was just getting 200 ping, and like he was trying
Yeah.
his best and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's like a quality of life for the entire server. And it was the same thing where I kind of had discussions with not only Chris, but there's been other retired pros that we had to send to the old man queue, not in like a bad way, but and even Chris, I gave him Premier for the challengers one, so he's in the top one. But basically, it's just most of the amateurs that are in there right now, like these guys are scrimming full time. Like these guys are like basically, at that like semi-pro level. And that's why like we're trying to get more of them in, and that's why we're trying to phase out players that are playing more for fun. And the ones that are playing more for fun, we want them to be in either Premier or the old man one, and the ones that are like really competitive, that's what we want in the BPL one. And this has been an issue in every esport. And the
100%.
original
Yeah.
the original start is very subjective in any esport. But after the start, once we get the format solidified, the whole point of this is that we can use Premier as a qualifier. And like I've even talked to a bunch of amateurs. They're like, the pros aren't going to want to play for us if they qualify. And I was like, guys, it's the whole point of this is to get a select number of you guys that performed the best, get you in there and give you an opportunity to play with the pros. Because even when I was talking with Tyler the other night, I was saying like we had 3 lobbies, almost 4 lobbies going.
Tyler Fellow or Tyler Obeezy?
Abizi.
Okay.
And we had almost 4 lobbies going, so that's we almost had 40 players active at the same time, and we only had like 60 in the server. And he was basically, I was telling him like, this is what I've wanted to do all the time, because usually back when you guys are playing 8s, you guys would draft a team, and then the players that didn't get picked would just get off for the night. They would
Just play
like, "Oh,
pubs
I'm
or
not gonna
something.
play."
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Respect or whatever.
And-
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, like, you get 8 players, you're forced to play with those eight players, and you get to know them. Like, we have Eric Boom, we have all the Spanish players, we have Linz, we have all the rookies in there, and we have a bunch of top amateurs in there, and like they're getting a chance to play with these pros and get to know them and show them their skill set. And one of the top amateur players was like, I'm nervous if I qualify in there, like, are they going to want to play with me? Like, they're not going to want to play with me. And I was like, the whole goal is to get you in there and give you an opportunity. And if that month that you qualify and you get in there and it's not at the level, like, you just go back to Premier. It's not the end of the world. And if you go in there and you perform well, you're going to stay in there. And that's the whole goal of it, is to give these guys like an opportunity to play and like not have it like, I don't want to look at it as like a negative, like you're not allowed to play. Like, I want to look at it as like you're climbing the ladder. Like, I want to give you something on the grind for, and play for and keep growing for. So that's the whole objective behind it. But I understand why people get upset, because anytime you have a hard line with anything, there's gonna be someone on the other side of it that thinks they shouldn't be, and that's why people get upset. And I've tried my best to explain, like, I could have handled Chris's a little bit better, but like Doug and a bunch of other players, like I've put like a lot of effort in explaining like the thought process and everything around it. And at the end of the day, like, not everyone's gonna agree, and that's just kind of how it comes down to. But the only thing I can do is just keep trying to make it better in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Premier thing, just being promoted and all that stuff, is like all you need. Like, I'm sure, like, again, like, there's gonna be like a little drama of like, especially, dude, at the end of the day, like, you guys put money on the line for these pro players to win, and the pro players are gonna be very picky of who gets on their, like, you know, like, they're gonna want to have the best teams and stuff. Like, you want to go into 8s and you want to have the best team so you can win, so your MMR goes up, so you have a chance of winning the money. At the end of the day, like, the way pro players are and the way pro players think, like, pro players think some other pro players suck. Some pro players think some other pro players are, like, challengers are stupid. Like, and that they're not gonna want to team with those specific people as much as they can. So, like, it's always gonna have that aspect to it, which is gonna be a little, like, you know, tough in the beginning. But I think this all settles out when you just have people getting promoted. And, like, to the person, you know, like, if you're a top amateur and you get promoted and you're in that, it's like, it's not really, you shouldn't really care as much as, like, if the pros want to play with you or not. You have to just be, like, undeniable and be good. Just be good and they'll play with you. I promise you, if you go into those 8s and you're nasty and you're winning most of the series that you're on, like, pros are going to want to have you on their team. That's what Abizi did back in World War II. He was godlike at ranked. So anytime you wanted to play, it's like, yo, if I got Abizi on my team, I'm winning the rank game. Like, when we were doing,
or a BZ too.
No, dude, yeah. If you had a BZ or his second account that had more, like, bro, you just knew you were winning the rank game. It's the same thing with these. Like, if you get, like, promoted from Premier to the, you know, the pro thing, and you have that, like, if you're winning and you're just good, like, you're gonna show yourself. You're gonna show that you're really, really good. And then when a team that sucks in the league needs someone, they're gonna think of you because of that. So, like, I think that's all perfect. Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be some drama around some of it, but I really think that's just, like, useless noise at the moment compared to, like, what it's going to become. Like, I think it's going to become, like, really, really structured, and that's how it should be. Like, if all those people that want to be in the pro world kind of thing, like, want to get there, just get promoted. That's how it's going to become. Like, or that's what I feel like it's going to become, and that's just how it should be.
Yeah.
So.
And
go ahead, Austin.
My favorite story, like, from one of these is actually from CS. One of my favorite players now, his name is Rops. He actually played in Face It when he was 18 years old. Because he's from Estonia, and he basically had no team. He would just grind FPL, which is the Face It, like, CS version of this. And people actually thought he was a cheater, and, like, we're basically about to exile him. And he literally, Face It flew him out to their headquarters. I think it was in London or something like that. And he played from their headquarters for like a week, and he was still just, like, styling on these pros. Yeah. And now he's, like, literally he is. I mean, I'm pretty confident he's the number one player in CS2 right now. But he literally came from a system just like this. And I know it's, like, not going to all be like that, but the goal is to at least give people the opportunities for it to can be like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but there's plenty of other CS and Val examples of that, and that's why, you know, listen, just like with those two, like, there's been player pool drama in both, you know, Rank S, FPL, Pro City. They all had this issue in the beginning as the play pool stabilized. So I think I appreciate your response, and I hope that people that say dumb shit in chats go back and watch this and hear that explanation and really take it to heart. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, I was gonna say too, it's like, I also think, like, dude, like, I'm sure, like, if you really get into the nitty gritty of some of the drama, like, you know, you could see, like, some people's points and whatever, but, like, bro, at the end of it, like, it also kind of annoys me in the sense, like, bro, like, what you just said, everything that he basically just said about, what do you say, 16,000 people a bunch of different regions. It's not just NA. Like again, like NA Call of Duty's had the most support clearly for a while. And it's like not even just NA though. It's like all these other regions, all these other players, all these other opportunities for players to prove themselves and stuff. Like that's a massive W for like the community in general. So I feel like having that massive W, like, yeah, you're going to have a few things that like can be a little bit better here and there. But I always feel like that becomes like the center of it, where it's like there's just so much more to it of what you're doing to like help everyone in the community. Like you didn't need to do this in the first place. And if you didn't, I can promise you no one else would have. Because we've been,
100%.
this is like, I know a lot of people that watch this podcast and a lot of people that watch me or in general or anything of CDL started watching Call of Duty professionally when CDL came around. So MW 2019, we have been doing this 8s thing for years, like 7-8 years before this. Like we've been doing this for forever. And of course, none of this existed way back in the day. And even when Discord started happening, like no one would have done this. So like, I mean, this is like a big up on you for setting up the community to, again, have a lot of different pathways, especially with the whole GB thing going down right now and everything else. Like, yeah, you're literally setting up people's future careers without even probably knowing it yet. And like, yeah, so the little things that like can be, you know, fixed or, you know, some feedback, I feel like always becomes the main focus, but you're actually fucking killing it. So I think you're doing a great thing and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah. And like, I've actually tried to be as open to feedback as possible.
Yeah, you're doing a good job with it.
Even like in the different regions, like a lot of them have different rules, so we can like trial stuff. And what's nice is like I made it a focus to actually reach out to the teams from each region. So like in APAC, we're in talks with some of the APAC teams to kind of get a little prize pool going, because in the Middle Eastern one, Team Falcons is actually sponsoring the prize pool for it, and we had 3,000 players join. And I've been watching a lot of their matches just because I've never watched a Middle Eastern Call of Duty match in my life. And I actually looked it up. They were playing 6v6 S&D last year. That was their competitive circuit, was 6v6.
Really? Oh shit.
Yeah. And so I was like really interested because we switched the rules in that Discord server to make it 4v4. Like they're playing CDL style rules now. And I just wanted to watch some of their players because there's 3,000 players in there now. It like ballooned really quickly. And a lot of those guys, because it's crazy, their FOVs are really wide, so they shoot like it looks crazy. But the whole objective of this is to get them more experience. So like playing in a team structure, because a lot of like competitive Call of Duty, it's not as much gun skill when you get to the top. It's more about map awareness, working as a team. A lot of like the stuff surrounding gun skill that make you a better player. And you don't grow that. You don't get better unless you're going to tournaments, unless you're playing in a competitive team format. So it's like that's why like APAC, that's why South Africa, that's why we're opening up a Latin American one. Like that's why I really want to put like more emphasis on playing as a team in those, and hopefully put a more bigger spotlight on them, because we don't really get that now in challengers.
Well,
no,
let's move. Yeah. Let's move on. We've also talked about. Appreciate Austin you going to depth on this, building this server and associated other channels and other servers with it, and excited to see what you guys do with Split 2 and beyond. And shout out to Draza, who was the winner of Split 1 on the pro side, just beating out Reese Vivid. They were in kind of a 1-2 battle, and then Draza is the fucking king grinder these days, and that guy played like 40 more matches than anybody else.
He almost had as many wins as the next person had games played.
Yeah.
He had 45 wins, and the next closest person to him had 48 matches played.
Yeah, it was like 48 matches played, and he had 71 or something.
I was talking to Bruce, and Bruce is like, yeah, like I'm pretty sure that Zach is at least starting the queue and like ending the queue every single day.
Yeah,
he's the first person on, last person off.
Wait, we end scrims if there's no VOD to watch. He literally goes, all right, I'm in 8th. I'll see you guys later. Just right to it.
He's just fucking gone.
And then I get off my second stream where I go to bed and I pull up my phone and he's on Twitch playing 8s still.
Bro,
he was ripping a Red Bull. He was ripping energy drinks last night at like, and I don't even know. I don't think he was playing BPL. He was playing S&D 8s this time. But like, dude, yeah, like 11 o'clock my time, so 2 a.m. Eastern, just like ripping energy drinks and just playing search. I'm like, dude, Jesus Christ, like,
it's twisted.
Like one quick thing on that too, because I forgot about this earlier, is like the scoring for it is you get 25 points for a win, you get -18 for a loss, and then we have like a win streak multiplier. So it's not really about like playing the most amount of games, because we had a lot of people play like 40, 30 games that weren't even in the top 20.
Mhm.
It's really about your win percentages and
Yeah.
then how many like what's the win streak you can go on. So like Jasa went on an 11 match win streak, and how it works is like if you win you get 25 for one win. If you win two in a row, you get 26, then 27, 28. So he went on an 11 map win streak. He was getting 35 elo a win
Oh shit.
at that point. And like same thing with Reese. Reese went on I think a 9 at one point. So that's how those guys like climbed it so fast, and they were able to kind of like sit there.
I know Reese
getting
was doing a
hot.
crazy. Yeah, I know Reese was on a crazy like run too at first when he first started.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on. We got a bunch of other stuff to talk about. One piece of news that and I don't think we spend too much time on this. That actually came out about an hour before the show started. It's been rumored for a while that G2 and version 1 were going to go ahead and merge. And as of this morning, they've announced that it's actually more of a strategic partnership. So the way it is working is that the version 1 ownership group will become shareholders of the G2 organization. G2 will be receiving the operating rights to the Call of Duty League team. So my guess is that V1 still owns the CDL team, but there's some kind of arrangement as far as cost and operation on that spot. As part of that, V1 will not be fielding future teams under their brand. So, any future stuff's all going to be G2 stuff. So, Chris, I know that, G2 has been in COD before.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about this in the IW Black Ops 4 era. What are your thoughts on this merger? Are you excited to see, the big G2 brand and their support and marketing coming in and supporting the CDL and Call of Duty in general?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's nice to see any big organization like especially like G2, get into the CDL and get into Call of Duty again. Like I know they've been around before, but I feel like for them to come back into it in the CDL and just show support to Call of Duty is always awesome. I mean, I hope they do well with everything that they're doing. But yeah, no, I think any big organization like that or any big marketing, like anything that's going to help Call of Duty grow, which I think they would, I think this is a great thing. I don't think there's anything negative to say about it, right? You'd agree with that? Like, I feel like everything's pretty solid. I think it's pretty cool for everybody. I don't think anything's going to change too much unless you disagree.
I don't see any issues with it because I just think one is, even beyond next offseason, like G2 is going to be supportive of the spot. I mean, Rocker in general is always supportive from a resources standpoint. Like,
Yeah,
I don't see that changing with G2. I don't see them saving money with this.
exactly.
Like, they're going to be, if anything, really, it's just, again, for V1, they've been clear since the spring that, they wanted to merge or acquire someone that was a little bit of a bigger name in esports because they tried kind of expanding the V1 brand, but they're sort of capped. At the end of the day, you can only win or compete so much. You need a lot of history to grow these brands. You need creators. It's just it's a lot of upstart costs, and they would rather take a little bit of a shortcut and merge with someone. But Austin, I don't know if you think there's any downside to this. I assume it's just positive.
The only downside is that I wish they both could have been in, because G2's been in, what was it, Black Ops 4 when they
Black Ops
were
4
in
and IW.
They didn't qualify in Black Ops 4 either, right? That was their team.
No, yeah. But because I really like what V1's done, and like they clearly care about Call of Duty because they always have events. They always try to throw like challenger stuff. Like they're super active with what they did last year with the in Wisconsin and in Minnesota when they did like
the LAN thing, right? The LAN.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like they're one of the major orgs who have actually like put a really, really big effort into the CDL. So it kind of sucks that we don't get both, but at the same time, like I'd rather them have the resources behind them to continue doing what they're doing.
Yeah. They definitely care a lot. If you talk to any of those guys, they're always very on top of like just doing stuff for the community, for their players, for their fan base and everything. So they've always been like innovative in that way, for sure, especially with that LAN thing too. That was really cool.
Well, I've reached out to some folks at V1 and G2, so we'll see if we can get them on the show and kind of speak more on this partnership. But that news just broke today, so we'll probably get more info in the coming days and weeks about that. And also probably some thoughts from Daniel or someone CDL on it too. Let's talk about season 1 of this new game that is going to be rolling out on Wednesday. I was on a pretty good call yesterday. We're going to Tuesday morning. They're kind of starting to do these regular kind of creator calls now. Shout out to Rob Taylor and the PR team at Activision, like getting creators from NA and EU and other regions together with developers so that they can kind of tell us what's going on, with the new game and new seasons. Allow us to, and they've been very good about answering questions and being like very straight up, and then allowing us to go back to our communities and kind of speak on that. So a lot of season 1 information came out yesterday. There was also an embargo lifted on people that went to Sledgehammer last week and played some new season 1 stuff. So if you check out like channels like Exclusive Ace, they put out some gameplay from that stuff. So I know we're comp focused and there's a lot of changes. I want to focus mostly on comp stuff to this. And if we have some time, we can chat maybe a little bit of Warzone stuff. Chris, want to give your thoughts? But let's start with the snaking fix now. I know that snaking has been GA'd for now, and we'll get to that in a second. But one thing that will be coming with this season 1 update is a little bit of an attempt to fix snaking. So I asked a question about this on the call yesterday, and basically what the fix is you can go up and down like crouch and sprint. You know, if you have single tap on whatever, like crouch sprint once or twice, but when you do it a third time, there is going to be a little bit of a debuff / cooldown. Sledgehammer does have the ability to change that cooldown value to whatever they need to, and they will putting out a timing that they say is the V1 timing for their cooldown, and that they are going to monitor how it plays at the CDL, Elite calendars rank play level, and see if they need to adjust it, with quick patches throughout the year, season 1 with loaded, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, I think my first question is to you, Chris. Like, obviously, I know sneaking is GA'd, but people are still obviously, occasionally popping up and down in matches. Do you think this fix is enough, or do you think it's kind of irrelevant now that seems like the GA is going to hold?
Well, I don't think it'll ever be irrelevant because of the GA. I mean, the more they try to fix snaking, the less this GA becomes even more of a talking point, because then like you can't just like right now again, I mean, we've watched it. We've been snaked a couple times in scrims, and like, whether it's on accident or not is a whole different thing, but like the whole point of it is just like you're like that GA plus a cooldown is going to make it even better. Like the game plays better without snaking, of course. And I think the GA is going to hold for the most part. I'm a little worried with some of the matches and stuff in some important moments, but the more that it's GA'd and people get used to not doing it as much, and then on top of that, them fixing it from the developer side, which actually matters way more than the GA. At the end of the day, like players shouldn't have to be dealing with this in the first place. We've talked about that. So like them doing it will be enough. Yes, I don't think this, like the video that we saw isn't enough yet. Like that cooldown wasn't that big of a deal. Like you have to remember to snaking like say if you're snaking like a desk or a head glitch on like a terminal, it's gonna be annoying if you can continuously do it over and over again. But like what they were doing in that video, like the cooldown wasn't that drastic where like you would lie down and kind of get back up again. And it's all about that camera from like popping. It's like basically instead of like slide canceling a corner and having the camera, you're like obviously lying down and then camera glitching upward with like the cover in front of you. So it's still going to be super annoying. So I think that they're getting close enough to it, but I don't think that first cooldown will be enough to like say get rid of the GA and then allow people to just play the goddamn game how it is and not have to worry about getting snaked for 60 seconds in a row. But it's a start, and that's my biggest thing with everything with Warzone and CDL right now. Like this is the first developer where we've had addressed snaking, and I don't know how, like a long time, like probably like a very long time. And Treyarch has a good like mechanic when like you have to like put your arm down when you try and drop shot. You can't like drop shot in Treyarch games for the most part because of that. So it's like this is huge, and the fact that they're even trying to fix it is a huge W for the CDL and the competitive community. And I think that this cooldown will start. I think they'll realize it's not enough yet, and then they're probably gonna have to add more. And again, for the casual player too, bro, if you snake more than twice and like you're not a casual player, like, but you know what I mean, like I don't think that will hurt a casual players if the cooldown was even more harsh, where like you actually get stuck in a lie down, like where like it actually kind of screws you, where like you actually can't even use the head glitch because you're lying down staring at the wall because you can't get back up. So I think like they're gonna have to make it a little bit more extreme to fix it, where like the GA could either be gone or just the game could play how it is. But it's a good step forward. I don't think it's enough yet, but it's definitely a good step forward.
I assume so. When I asked them on the call about it, and they were very straight up, they were like, one, we know this is like very like 1% of the community, like, average Joe Schmo and like a Rust pub isn't like sinking, P1 heady or whatever. They're also cognizant of they don't, and I understand this because you play Warzone, like they don't want to really affect the movement gap enough. So you have a situation last year in Warzone where it just feels clunky. But that's a big money maker. Go ahead though.
So you're fine with that. Like you're not wrong, and like they're not wrong. But like I don't think like, bro, I played Warzone a lot last year. The reason why snaking was so bad last year was because there was no other movement in Warzone 2 and in the MW2. There was no movement. The only thing you could do in that game was drop shot or lie down or like get back up. Like that was it. So like you would have to snake corners and stuff and all that. But like I don't really feel like in Warzone, the CDL, like you get it behind a head glitch in a search and destroy, and you hold that and you snake it for like a whole round straight. You don't like do that in Warzone for the most part. And the people that are doing that in Warzone are the 0.01% of like top 250 ranked players. You know what I mean? Like, and again, if they can't do that, they'll find something else to do. So it's like, I don't think that would hurt Warzone movement a lot to get rid of it. If you can do it twice, you can do it twice. It should be something where if you slide to a head glitch and you get shot in the back, lie down, pop back up. But if you keep doing it over and over, you die. So it's like, I don't know.
You should get a debuff. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, Austin, I see me feel the same way. It's just, well, there's like the GA. Go ahead though.
There's like two parts to it though, because if they can at least fix the visual, so like right now a big issue too is when you're snaking, your head moves actually so fast up and down.
Yeah.
If visually you can slow that down so the opposing player can see you while you're still doing it, so that's like a negative. And with the headshot multiplier in this game anyways, like that would be an extreme negative. Like that's one way to fix it too if they can't do a longer cooldown. But I mean, personally, I just don't feel like a GA is sustainable over the course of the season, because in every single game since I've started like in Call of Duty, at some point someone breaks the GA, whether it's accidental or not, and you don't want to get in that situation where the other team is now like in like a situation where like a lot of these teams are like, oh, they did it to me, I'm going to do it to them. Like we saw it with stair glitching last year. Like we couldn't even keep that out of the game, and that one should have been extremely easy.
Yeah, I mean that one's easier than snaking for sure.
Yeah, 100%. So I've asked around, and Chris, you can probably confirm this. I've asked around and pretty much I talked to 5-6 coaches in the league, and basically it's like, yeah, since the GA, we've probably gotten snaked a couple of times on scrims. It's pretty much most of the time been like accidental, or one of those situations where we feel like we got snaked, but if I were spectating the other person again, they just popped up on us. Like in the moment.
I watched a few in Podcaster that were.
Yeah, but there are a couple people that went to me and were like, end of this gritty map. Maybe we're playing for a little bit of cash. Sometimes people in scrims, they put some money on the line so people go hard. It might have been a little, people were trying to snake to win that last map to win that cash. So,
I mean,
we'll see.
I don't know, but dude, at the same time, like, let's say I think Austin, like your fix would obviously be the best. If you're lying down and doing this animation and your head's just above the head glitch, you just look like an idiot and you just get ripped off of it, like you're dead. That's how it probably should be. I don't know, the animation of the character, that might be a tougher fix. But like at the same time, I know someone in the chat just said it, like a 2 snake penalty won't stop you from getting snaked. Like I also think like people like don't know like snake the difference between like snaking and then just like popping up behind cover. Like, bro, if I was running like to a head glitch, right, and you shoot me like in the side and I slide to that head glitch and lie down, but I get to that head glitch and you don't kill me in time, like I shouldn't feel bad for like after being put in a situation where I'm lying down behind cover, like I can pop up now and kill you. Like that's not like, I mean, bro, you didn't kill me before I got the head glitch and I killed you. And then like, again, it's the same thing like on the Karachi P1, if you're lying down in the Karachi P1 hill and someone's coming through like the middle alley, if you like lie down and then like get back up like once or twice, like you're just playing the cover that you're behind using it that way. The difference is like pop-up glitching can be annoying and it's the worst to die to, but like that, I feel like that's been a part of Call of Duty since Call of Duty 4 in 2008. Like that has been a thing for forever. Like if someone that lied down and like he was behind cover, I'm not just gonna let him pop up out. Obviously, you have to play it differently. But like snaking is when like you were actually behind that head glitch, snaking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, like where like there's nothing you can do while someone's just standing there. So I think that cooldown will stop snaking, and I don't think pop-up glitching, like it is what it is. The problem is like, like in moments of like these nitty-gritty moments, like 220, you get behind a heady on Karachi on P2, right? And like you're behind that wall. What's going to stop someone from snaking that one moment? And that's when people are going to lose full. But like, I do think people also get pop-up glitched and think they get snaked, and it's not the same thing. Like that is not the same thing. It like one's been in Call of Duty for forever, and then snaking is when you do it obnoxiously. So I think pro players right now are just trying to push the obnoxious snaking where like someone just is just like, on the P2 trucks at Embassy last year, it's like, dude, this is insane. Like, like just never just never not doing it. So it's like, I think it's still, again, going to help, but I also think like, people just like pop-up glitching has been in Call of Duty for forever, so it's just trying to figure out the balance between the two.
I think there'll be a lot of clips this weekend, and we're going to continue this thing.
Well, there's going to be a lot of drama around it. No, there's going to be No, there's gonna be a lot of drama around it because there's gonna be times where it's like, oh, he did it 3 times, not 2, and it's like, and here we go, like.
Takes away from the game, man.
But what Austin said about the stare glitch, though, like, again, it's easier to avoid the stare glitch than it is to snake. And we were watching people blatantly stare glitch and like do crazy shit like last year. So I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. Some other changes that are coming in season 1. So there is going to be an AR nerf SMG buff attachment focus is what they said on the call. We don't know exactly, and they wouldn't say on the call exactly what the changes are. Patch notes are coming out Wednesday morning. Chris, I think the only, because again, I don't want to like speculate on this without knowing what the changes are. And again, it's attachments. So it could, they could just nerf attachments and use other ones and it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if like the esports, the sort of version of the game you guys are playing on Friday, is that going to be on the season 1 patch, or are they not set at all if that's the case?
Wait, I don't know if I misunderstood you, but are you asking if we're playing the matches on what we've been playing on right now?
Are you going to play the matches on the pre-update that's dropping on Wednesday?
Of course. Yeah.
So the update on Wednesday is not going to be on the build?
Absolutely not. Because if they change anything between guns, spawns, or anything of the sort, and even if they don't change spawns, I still swear sometimes their updates just be changing spawns anyway. Like, that does happen. Like, they won't put pro players on that. We'll play probably every single match of, like, these starting matches on what we just practiced for a month. After these matches are over, we'll update. We have a couple weeks to, we have that break. We have a couple weeks to learn it again, and then we'll go back to the new thing. So, we're just gonna play normal.
Yeah, I think the interesting on that point is Austin. I don't know if you've watched any of the footage of people that played. I can't believe the name. Meat and Grease, which are going to be coming with season 1. I assume people will play those maps for a bit and over the holiday break if they're good.
Listen, we're putting Meat in the CDL, dude. We're putting Meat in the CDL.
You're gonna be grinding Meat, dude. Like,
hell yeah.
That's where I actually want to try to put those maps in an experimental rotation on the BPL servers, and just have
you should
Meat, Grease and all that stuff, and just see what people's feedback are.
No, that's a good idea.
To do it.
No, dude, that's the best. That's actually, I didn't even think of that, but exactly you're actually spot on, because that's, bro, again, no pro player wants to go out of their way to test that shit because it's just annoying and get the people to do it. But bro, if you could just run a few of those, people will do that, and challengers will definitely do that. You know what I mean? There will be plenty of people that will do that stuff. So that's actually really cool too. And even the old men eights will do it. So it's that's actually, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, BPL is going to be godlike for that.
The experimental QW idea. We got to move a little bit quick because we still have half an hour and a lot more to cover. Chris, I want to give you 2 minutes to quickly talk about your thoughts on Warzone announcements, all the stuff we've heard in the deep dive coming in for this new map and the 100-player lobbies.
I know some people on this podcast like to hear Warzone. I'm not going to go crazy on this. Warzone is awesome. Done. That's it. 100-player lobbies, don't care. It's the same thing with what we just talked about, the BPL. Bro, Warzone came out with a list of 1 billion things that every single thing that they did, animations, the gas mask, freaking 20-minute gameplays, everything that they're adding and all this stuff is incredible. And then 100-player lobbies, and the only thing you see about people tweeting is 100-player lobbies. It's the same thing. The one negative thing, the 17 other things that they listen to, go away. Bro, their season 1, they got more content in season 1 this year than last year. Last year was fucking miserable. They have all the feedback and all the stuff that they're changing is godlike. 100-player lobbies, I'm assuming that's more than just hey, put 150 people in the lobby so everyone could lag and complain about lag. There has to be a server stability thing, whether it's money or not. It's just not that. So bro, they're doing good, period.
This question I asked on the call, and they were very clear. And again, unless it's a spin, they were very clear. And I have also talked to rating guys before, so I don't think they're capping, because those guys, I talked to Mechanics, they're really nice guys. They're super straight up about Warzone. They said their biggest feedback point from last year was that the beginning of games were crazy, the middle of the game was boring as fuck, and then the end of the game was crazy. And to them, they think that was a bad experience for the players. So what they're trying to do, their goal right now, their KPI. So everybody should think about all these changes contextually, because this is their goal, and they'll see if it works. They said they're super open. If it doesn't work, they're going to pivot. Is they want the middle of the game to be better now. And that they think going to a 100-player lobby based on the data they have is going to make the beginning of the games less chaotic, make it more important to make the right decisions, middle map, and have more consistent action. And then you get to that apex point at the end of the game. Now, if it doesn't work out that way, fine. They also said that there is, from their end, not any kind of real server performance issue as to driving this decision. That's not to say that I don't know if there is or isn't potentially a server issue if they go to 150. I think that might be spin.
Now we're going to be on the Warzone thing, Ben. Now we're going to start talking about Warzone more longer than we have, bro. Bro, their servers last year I'm not. No, they're not getting. They terrible is an understatement. Every single game you would lag, like actually fucking lag and get packet bursts and skip around. It was terrible. I didn't ping under 50, like under 50 ever last year for like my entire morning stream and all of that. Like no, their servers were terrible and they lowered it. And when they did, you stopped lagging as much. Their server stability is awful. There's no way you're getting around that. Like maybe the whole feedback shit you just said is true, but like, bro, 100 player lobbies. How does that fix the mid game being boring? Like that. How does that fix the mid game being boring?
I don't want to spend too much time on it. They said the map is 20% smaller.
But again, that's a
100 combo with small map. They're claiming that's going to make mid game better. We'll see.
I don't know.
But they said that's their big focus. So clearly, if it doesn't,
servers
doesn't hit,
them saying that it's not a server thing. Like again, it could be over my head for sure. I'm not an expert on this, but I played Warzone every day last year, every fucking day last year, and every fucking day I lagged. Every single day.
That's not ideal. That's not a good percentage.
Yeah, and I'm not even trying to like dude, I think they're doing an incredible job of Warzone, but no. I lagged every single day. No.
Well, we'll talk more. Warzone, obviously, new map comes out tomorrow. I think I'll be playing on stream. Chris will be obviously grinding it. We'll talk about it more next week once we get our full thoughts in. Let's talk challengers. So a lot to discuss in challengers. 3 different topics. First topic, let's talk about the rotation tournaments this weekend. Shout out to the rotation for working with a bunch of different partners to get those tournaments locked and loaded. We had one in EU, one in NA with pretty much all the top amateur teams. And I'm going to be honest, the teams that won in both regions really weren't. There wasn't any crazy surprise. In Team EU, the Hixie Bands, Beans, and Nasty team won. And in NA, you had Team Asim, Brack, Exceed, and I forgot who's their fourth. Brack, Exceed, Asim, and Cramp, right?
Yeah, Cramp.
Is it fourth? Yeah. So both those teams have just dominated. Like in watching scrims, like both those teams just kind of were always winning scrims. So I'm not surprised either team won. What? And I assume you all agree. Like no, round the horn just real quickly. None of you guys are surprised that those 2 teams won, right?
I mean, one of them's legitimately a pro team.
Yeah.
So
I mean, both dudes.
And the other one has both of them are legitimate pro teams.
Literally.
I was gonna say like even like the Asim matchup in like the final, he played like Temp's team, and like that's also another pro team. Like the challengers is very competitive. Like yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna bring up something. I actually want your guys' opinion on this because every single season since Modern Warfare, there's been people saying challengers is dead. Why even play it? But now we're 4 or 5 years into this, and this is the I know regionally this is probably the worst we've been, but in NA this is probably the strongest talent pool the challengers has ever been, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's a really good thing because if they had a better format, I think throughout the year, and like if the challenger circuit was more spread out, because I don't think it's necessarily about money. I think it's more about opportunities across the entire season.
Yeah.
Like the talent pool we have this year is actually insane.
Mm-hmm. No, it's definitely insane.
The NA Challengers Elite spots are going to be very competitive. And let's actually pivot and talk about that. So there was a rotation tweet that came out. And again, I like the rotation, but sometimes they do kind of, when they have information and they report it early, they do hedge a little, but I always caution with their stuff because I don't think they don't always like report stuff that's 100% locked. So they tweeted out yesterday that they had gotten some information that about challengers upcoming. That one is that we're only going to get 3 stages of challengers elite, which to me makes, if you think about where we're at calendar wise, unless there were going to be cups like this weekend and next weekend, you need to get an elite qualifier in. Like it was always going to be like 3 stages. Last year we had 5. I just don't know how people didn't do the math. Last year we had 5 pro stages and 4 stages of elite. Like what were people thinking we're getting 4 stages of elite, just weren't thinking about the schedule. It sucks. Wish we had 4, but that's how it's going to go down. I think the bigger issue, and one I want to spend some time talking about, starting with you, Austin, because you and I talked about this on Twitter yesterday when this dropped, is that the rotation report that's looking increasingly likely there'll be a maximum of 3 challengers opens this season. You and I talked about it, trying to figure out what team it maybe was. Seems like maybe it's Carolina. I know Boston also expressed on Twitter interest on potentially running a challengers open. Do you think we're going to end up with 3, or do you think like they're going to problem solve it with Boston and we'll get 4 opens with one of them maybe being in Helix?
I think I think Boston will probably step up. The thing for me that is like kind of annoying is like back in Modern Warfare, I'm gonna go back again, but back in Modern Warfare we had like the city circuit thing that was an idea that got shut down due to COVID. what's more annoying is that I think like the CDL and a lot of these franchises should be doing like more like local events to get more players involved, because at the end of the day, like I don't think the opens at CDL events can be the only LAN experience players are getting. And a lot of these players just want to play. That's like one thing I've learned with BPL too, is like all these players, they just want to play. So just limiting the LAN events to 3 is kind of, it's just not enough for like the tier 2 scene. Even like not even talking about prize pools or anything, just matches, just playing. And to hear that they're contemplating only 3 elite stages too, and the elites should be extremely easy to do. Like you don't even have to have a broadcast for those. Just set it up so they can play. And like I don't think, again, like prize pools don't have to be insane. It's just the opportunity to showcase your talents. And that's why I think like the elite was one of the best additions they've ever put into challengers, because it gives a whole platform on a day where CDL matches aren't happening on Tuesdays and
Yeah.
Wednesdays, where you can showcase your talent. And like I feel like us as a community have been trying to like be really receptive of that and like showcase it more. But that should be something you can plug in. Like we should already be that should be happening right now. Like there should be like a season 1 elite happening right now. Even if it's for like $5-10K, like it doesn't matter. Just give them the
But they would
opportunity
have
to
to have
showcase
done.
themselves.
The issue is, and this is the problem, is like, we heard the news about game battles not being involved. Clearly, they don't have their ducks in a row on who's going to manage the pro
Yeah.
point structure, like all the tournaments. How would you like it? Just structurally, like without having a couple of cups and elite qualifier, you can't run that first stage of elite. And
I mean, you had the
I
pro
wish
points from last year. You had pro points from last year. You could.
Oh, it would have caused a crazy roster mania and challengers, though. Is the only
That's a good
downside of
thing,
that.
though.
People would
No,
have
a
sketched
lot
the
of
fuck out of each
storylines.
other. Yeah, but it would have been a mess, because what if there's some godlike player who just turned 18 and has 0 pro points? Like they have no way to qualify in that first stage of elite. And then the problem is you had that first stage of elite and people get grandfathered in, and now it's like, there's only minimum spots like locked in for the elite. I just don't think that would have worked. But here's what I do agree with Austin, and I want to actually ask Chris this. Chris, do you think that CDL needs to do a better job of sanctioning like local level tournaments, less pro points untapped than say an open, but like your average local at say Helix or an esports arena or whatever local it's happening like in the Midwest or California for these like lower level sanctioned tournaments, so people can get pro points in a different way and they don't have to like go to the opens?
I mean, it would be cool. I think what Austin said, like most people just want to play Call of Duty competitively, like on LAN, whether it's in the esports arena or a big venue at an open. You know what I mean? Like I think they just want to play no matter what it is. So it'd be cool to see like more like LAN experience tournaments that way too. And like you can definitely get some content around it. I mean, if you keep it local with some of the teams, I'm sure you can figure out some cool stuff to do as well with like the if it was like in Atlanta, for example, like local with the team, even like the team showing up there and all that stuff too. Like I'm sure you can do pretty like you can execute some pretty cool ideas for sure. But like, yeah, I mean, just to backtrack really quick, what you said, Austin, like why are you playing in this challengers? It's dead. Like, that's the one thing I like. I don't think people remember what it was like to be an amateur. Like when I sound old when I was playing, but like if you were in the open bracket when I was playing, like you weren't making anything. And like I know I'm not every challenger makes a lot of money now, but like you're still competing for like there's a lot of stuff that is still good for you. Again, is it perfect? And could it be better? Absolutely. But like I don't know. I feel like there's still a lot of stuff to like also be grateful for in that sense too. It's definitely gotten a little bit better in most ways, but yeah. No, I mean I think the local events is a cool idea though. To keep it between the teams, like getting people active around their area and stuff too. And again, you can do like cool activations with teams and the players and all that stuff too. Like for
I think
sure.
that's like the big misconception though, is like people tie a lot of the challenger stuff into money when in reality it's all about opportunity. Like we're getting less and less opportunity for the players to actually play the game. And back in the day, like yeah, people do not remember. You made $0. There's like a 99% chance when you went to an event you got $0. But you got an opportunity to
yeah,
it's generous. I know. But you got an opportunity to like grind through the bracket. You got an opportunity to play against the pros if you made it there. It's all about like opportunity. And even if it's a small opportunity, like that was like the goal, that's what you're grinding for. And like right now, like I completely understand the franchise model and why that's there. So that's why you have to give them opportunity elsewhere. And like personally, I understand like the biggest problem in esports right now is making money off of LAN events and monetizing that. But locals is a lot easier because you don't have to run a broadcast. You can partner with a venue, and you can do what we used to have in California, what we used to have in the tri-state with oh my god,
NJ?
You guys know this. And
Oh,
yeah,
NJ
NJ.
Halos.
Like you can do that and break even. You can do that in some of these franchises that have like Boston, for example, Texas, for example. You can probably make money off locals if you're doing it frequently and you're setting it up correctly. Because it's not all about the broadcast; it's just about playing and then tying that in some way into challengers, so you can get at least a little bit for doing these. And yeah, I just think like that's the big issue right now.
So just to put a cap on it, shout out Boston, by the way. Boston came in and instantly supported challengers from day one. They probably are the most at the challengers level, probably the most supportive org outside of maybe Rocker as far as at that scene. They consistently ran tournaments, had an amateur team, like to the point of like, they have always wanted to try and host as many amateur competitions as possible. Like, shout out to them. I think the difficulty for some of these franchises, you mentioned Optic, biggest cost driver for running a challengers event is monitors and PCs, depending on how many signups you have, number of stations, and not everybody has access to a facility with that, or the facility has that equipment that's up to the standard required to be able to get like, CDL to sanction as a challenger's activity. And so that just adds costs on top of labor and travel and blah, blah, blah. So the economics are still tricky, but anyone that has access to a facility can do it. Be able to do it. They should be able to get sanctioned, do it. And onto this 3 events thing, I think it's going to get figured out. I think at worst, if one of these franchise teams, and it seems like we already have a Boston Challenge event planned. We don't know. I mean, the Misfits Florida Heretics event is at a gaming expo. So I would be effing mind blown if there's not a Challengers event at a gaming expo. That would be ridiculous. Toronto's announced nothing about their event, but unless they're going to a smaller venue than last year, they've had a Challengers participation as part of their last 2 they've done at the previous venue they were at. So it just leaves Carolina. So I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully we have 4 Challengers plus events plus champs. So we'll get that figured out. My guess is we'll get more Challengers details later this week. They have to announce something about Challengers before the season starts, or it's going to be big PR Nightmare. One other Challengers thing I want to talk about really briefly, because this really pissed me off this weekend, by the way, really annoyed me.
What pissed you off, Ben?
To the point you made about the big key thing with Challengers about getting eyeballs of participation on, this one's on the Challengers scene. This is not necessarily on CDL. Bro, the finals in NA for this rotation tournament, and I believe it started off Sunday as top 8 double M, correct? Austin, or was it 16 team double M on Sunday?
I think it was 8. I think it was supposed to be 8
team double M tournament started at 1 p.m. and ended at 4 a.m. How is that acceptable, bro?
Is that the pro? Is that the Challengers?
How is that acceptable? Because what I'm telling you, bro, I watched so many streams. This is what happened: is a series would end, and the refs and the teams would just torch time, doing vetoes, setting up the lobbies. Obviously, as you know, Chris, like the way the lobbies work in this game, they're a little funky sometimes. So it takes a little bit of time. And the refs were not really leaning on teams like, you got 5 minutes to do vetoes and 5 minutes to get lobbied up. And if there's issues, we'll figure it out after that. They were just kind of letting these teams take 35 minutes in between fucking series. And like, ASIM to the point, like, bro, ASIM's team made grand finals, and ASIM came in, was literally hanging our team speak for 5 hours waiting for finals.
Yeah, we were playing
like 5 series 8s.
Yeah.
Like that is unacceptable. I know that Game Battles had this kind of figured out to an extent last year, but anyone that hosts feature big amateur tournaments, the amateur themselves, bro, it should be a standard now. You finish the series, get a couple minutes to breathe, get your vetoes done in 5 minutes. You got like 7 to 10 minutes to lobby up. It should take no more than 20 minutes, really 15 minutes in between your last series to get lobbied up and going for the next series.
Wait, is this true? Double A in the chat just said, pretty sure one kid left mid-series to play a CCL match. Is that true?
Yeah, bro.
Well, that team should be forfeited. Like, what are we doing? They were
letting people play CCL finals
but is that the Challengers' fault though? Because like in my opinion, if I'm running the tournament and you go to take an hour break to play a CCL match, like respectfully, get the fuck out of the tournament. You're forfeited. Like what? Like I feel like that's like, I don't know. I feel like that's like not really the player's fault. Like I mean that's a pretty like I mean I'm sure like that match is important to that player too, but like I feel like you got to figure that out. Like I don't know. Like I don't think that's like, I feel like you're blaming all the Challengers players on that. But like, I don't know. I feel like that's not
Challengers teams are, I'm telling you, having been on that side, Chris, because I'll tell you, this is a big issue in Modern Warfare 2019. There's a big issue in Cold War on the team side. If they're not being pushed by refs to get vetoes done, the time eventually lobby up in time.
But you're like, I feel like you're saying my point. Like if they're not getting pushed by refs, why are the refs not pushing them?
Bro, because the refs, a 1K tournament.
That's a great question. It's a really good question.
I don't know. Like, it's probably easier said than done, but I just feel like if you can't get vetoes done between the two teams, like if I asked you, like, say I said, like, I mean, bro, the CDL is on your ass when you were playing online matches, and like they're like 5-minute countdown started. If you're not here, like dude, we've seen it happen. Like like so it's like, I mean, bro, if you say like a 5-minute countdown starting now, if you're not here, like GG, like go next. Like I mean, Warzone does it with their Warzone queues. Like when you're competing, they say, yo, countdown starts now. If you're not back on your setup, we're starting this server. If you're not here, I don't care. Like I don't know. I feel like again, yeah, like challengers players can be organized for sure. But sure, like, I mean, I feel like isn't that like the tournament organizer to be like, yo, like, if you cannot hand me your vetoes between the other team in 5 minutes, like, you're out of the tournament. Like, I feel like, I think
some of it is on the TOs. And so I hope whoever's going to manage most of the challengers this year, I know Game Bells by the end was pretty, just talking to like Juju and them.
When
like,
someone gets forfeited, the first time, they're going to bitch, they're going to complain, they're going to yell on Twitter and be babies about it. And then they're never going to do it again.
I agree. It's just, and we all agree, it's just unacceptable for an 18 double elimination tournament to take 15 hours. That's
no. You're right. Your frustration is right, but I don't
there wasn't
think
a reset in the grand finals. There's one series like.
But I'm telling you, the CDL does the same thing, and I guarantee you, if the CDL was just like, hey, players can play whenever they want, like we wouldn't be seeing league matches start on time. That's all. Like we can barely get a scrim starting on time. So like, I don't know. I feel like that's more on like the tournament organizer to just like be strict with it. If you're not, like you're gonna.
I think it's on both sides. I think definitely TO's got to enforce policy, but for the amateurs, like I don't take 50 minutes to do a series. You're gonna stretch out the tournament time for yourself as well. So we'll see if they address that in future tournaments. We got about 15 minutes left. I want to bang through 2 quick topics, and then we got a couple of questions.
Let's do it.
This news broke earlier this week. Unfortunately, community favorite EU casters Bryson Tunn will not be returning as CDL casters. They both put out statements on social media earlier this week, and I'm going to read you a little bit of what Bryce said. This was posted, I believe, on Monday, December 3rd. Yeah, so this was on Sunday afternoon. He said, 4 days ago, Tunn and I were informed that due to a significant budget cut, we will not be on the main roster for the CDL this year. I don't know if people know this, but Bryce and Tunn have really good work ethic. They are super passionate. Because I will tell you from being behind the scenes that they are incredibly passionate about the product and the way the production team is set up. They really want the casters to help drive a lot of broadcast decisions, and those guys are a big part of it. And it sucks that due to budget reasons and for budget reasons alone, that's why these guys are not on. So I wanted to start with you, Austin, get your thoughts. I know we don't have a full talent roster yet, but just want to give you a time to address your thoughts on Bryson Tunn not being part of at least the main CDL broadcast this year.
I really like them because I feel like every caster pair that we had like their own voice, own style. Like Maven and Merc is very different from Chance and Miles, and Bryson and Tunn was very different from both of them. And then like Lando and Study was different from all of them. And like losing that sucks, especially because like EU casters it's just a different vibe when they're up there. And they were to me they were one of my favorites. But at the same time, I did the math out for this week or this year. So MW3 has the least amount of matches per week out of any pro league season we've had since AW. And AW was 12 a week.
Well, AW is crazy, yeah.
Yeah. So in the past we've had the CDL's average between like 10 to 10.5 a week. We're getting 9.3. There's some weeks where we're gonna get like 9 matches a week, which is just extremely small. And it just if you have 4 casting pairs. And if I don't know about Maven and Merc like doing the qualifier system around, because last year they didn't. But if you only have 3 pairs, like it kind of makes sense to have 3 pairs during the online qualifiers. If there's only 9 matches a week, if you had 4, somebody would be literally doing all the prep work and all of the work to cast 1-2 matches a week. It's just not sustainable that way. But I really hope they get reached out to for like certain tournaments, and try to like bring them in. I hate that they got left out though. It's actually kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean I feel like esports in general right now, you see a lot of this like shitty news like this, and like I mean I think Bryce and Tunn are great. You know what I mean? They have a lot of passion to the Call of Duty world, and like I mean I would obviously love to not see them go, but the reality is if they are, but it's like I would like to see them back in like other ways if they could be somehow, because I mean their passion for just the game and everything in the CDL wise is awesome, and I do think their style is obviously different than the other casters, so it's obviously cool. So it's like I think I mean, I hope they can somehow find a way to be into that. But yeah, no, I know that world can be brutal, and like the whole just casting world of everything. So, I mean, it sucks to see them go because I thought they were really good.
Yeah, I love their vibe, and again, I will keep saying this because I know for a fact like those guys were so passionate about the product and a lot of the stuff that you guys like about the broadcast. Don't be surprised if you ever find out that Bryce and Ton were big advocates behind the scene, and that's why shit like that got pushed through. So, I know that's a collective effort as well. I don't want to undersell the work the Lettercasters do.
Of course,
Des
yeah.
does as well, but Bryce and Ton
All
in
those guys
particular
do work. Yeah, all those guys do a lot of work.
big drivers of product. One more question before we get to community ones. We had a fun tournament, another fun Hitch tournament yesterday. I believe it's the last Hitch launch tournament because he tweeted a GIF yesterday of him just like I was like reaction was just some guy like sleeping on a bench. But it was a really cool one. It was a Zuma versus Scump squad battle, and basically the format was basically Zuma and Scump had these like posses of like 18 people, and they played these like mini 3v3 S&D matches. Each like core of 3 could only lose 6 rounds total across whatever matches they played. The minute they lost 6 rounds, they were out. And basically, it went until one team ran out of rounds. I think Tommy's team ended up being like talent wise, because there were a lot of people that couldn't do it because I think they were doing ping tests and scrims and like a lot of other stuff. There were a bunch of people that I think were scheduled, so it was a little bit of like a mess with getting some of the squad together at the minute of the tournament starting. But it was a pretty fun tournament. Tommy's team did pull ahead towards the middle, and they were able to hold the lead. But there were a lot of like really good performances and some very good clips. If you've seen them on social, that I think Kenny had a really good clutch. Simp had a really good clutch. Kremp had an insane ninja diffuse. Your guys' S&D coach once again lost to T. I don't know. He can't fucking beat her. Ice-T was going around.
I don't even know what you're talking about, but
bro, it's the Tupac. Dude, I guess apparently I didn't know till yesterday. Like some of y'all might know T, who's she plays in the women's league and she's disgusting. Apparently she's faced off against Tupac like a bunch in some S&D stuff this year, and Pac is not beating her at all this year. And now he's like 0-5. So I guess she's Pac's hard counter.
So she's nasty, dude. That's dope.
No, she is. She is nasty because I watched her last year.
I didn't watch this tournament at all. That's why I said I was like, I didn't get to see this one, but.
It's good. There are a lot of really good clips. I know you didn't watch it, so then you probably don't have thoughts, but Austin, you might have watched.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of the tournament? Do you think there are any tweaks that Davis should do?
Dude, the beginning was hilarious when like Steph and Tom were like going at it, and like the whole FaZe team was just going in there, and they like dumped. I felt bad for Blast because he like tweeted out after too. He was just like, all these content creators got me thinking delusionally, man. I sat there and squared up with FaZe.
I saw that tweet.
It's good. It's good.
It was funny, and like they were like bantering back and forth. I will say, like as a player, that probably would have been one of the worst ones to play in, because you're just like sitting there just waiting, and like there was players, because like Tommy's team actually like won pretty good. Like there was players that like didn't really have to play, and you were like waiting till the end. But as like a concept, I actually thought it was really funny. I thought it was good, but I think with like a couple little tweaks, like it could be really good.
Yeah, I thought it was a good format. And listen, I got to give a big credit, obviously, to 2 people. One, obviously, my co-host of the Flank, Tommy. He's done a lot of work this offseason on offseason tournaments, the Flank Invitational, and Davis as well has done a good job with a lot of different tournament experiences. This time around, I don't know if all of them will return in future iterations of launch window activity and offseason activity, but I'm glad between them and obviously Austin, we talked about stuff you were doing earlier. Like for all of the talk that happens at doom and gloom in this community about the CDL, about esports, that the grassroots part of the fucking community is putting in a lot of work to make the scene bigger and brighter and grow and get more people interested. And I want to tip all of the people that do that kind of stuff to try and bring new ideas to the table, and bring more content to the folks at home or on mobile or however they're watching this content. So shout out to everybody. I have a couple ideas for Davis on how to tweak this, but I'm not going to talk about them on stream because I think I've already told Chris one of the ideas. I told him yesterday, and Chris thought it was a good idea. So I have a conversation. I gotta hit up Davis because I think I got a banger cooked up. I think based on this.
You actually might.
Okay. I listen. I told you. I think
I know. You actually might. I'm giving you credit.
Yeah. Normally Chris roasts my ideas and says they're fucking terrible.
I'm giving you credit.
But I think he liked this one. Anyway, let's get into community questions. We got like 7 minutes. We're gonna bang through these real quick. Most of these actually are for you, Austin. So we got these on Twitter. First off, from Charlie on Twitter. To you, Austin, is the Breaking Point podcast coming back this year?
So not like it was before. So right now we actually have a podcast with D-Real, and the New York guys, and so they're going to be going around and like having like in-person talks with people during the season. And then we also have another show that's debuting next week, which is with Ace, Rab, and some other people. So we're gonna have variations of it, but for me, I probably won't be on many of them or any of them. Um, just because this year I am pretty swamped. I would like to. I like coming on and talking because sometimes I feel like I can say some good stuff, but maybe in like my off time I'll be able to do some stuff.
Okay. What is
Cool.
what's this next one, dude? What am I reading? It
So,
says,
so this one's more of a joke question from our guy Rose on Twitter. I grind clubs a lot with Rose. He obviously works for Breaking Point. I know Austin does as well. And Rose is asking Austin is how do you like to spend your free time? You're not getting bombed by hundreds upon hundreds of BPL players these days.
So uh free time is kind of like rare right now, especially since this all started. Because for those of you who don't know, we have like a ticket system where players can submit tickets just like game battles, and that has been
oh my
like,
god, dude.
dude, it's hundreds, and it's crazy.
It's shocked. Yeah.
Oh my
Are you gonna
god.
bring on?
With,
Are you
like,
gonna bring on other
Discord
people?
notifications in my
Are you gonna bring on
dreams,
other
man.
people to help you with the ticket queue there? Because clearly, I think
This
that
this
like
week I am, but
That
I
has to
had
be
to like
nuts.
set up. Yeah, it's just insane. But so I love sports. I've been watching a lot of like I'm a big F1 guy, big NHL, so I do all of that. My wife likes to drag me out so I get away from my desk. We do a lot of stuff. But yeah, basically right now it's kind of tough, but during the summer, like I usually try to get out as much as possible, but not not recently.
He's
Not-
a, he's
not
a, he's a
recently,
busy
you-
man right now, dude. Dude,
Yeah.
you have so much shit on your plate, though. No bullshit. Probably so much.
People in my chat are asking like they are interested in becoming admins and helping out with ticket queue. Should I just like hit you up on like DMs if they're interested? Like, are you looking
Yeah.
for more people?
So like I plan on getting a lot of admins this week. I just wanted to get the Discord set up so like the players are playing and then I can deal with that because like to get admins I actually have to like vet and like make sure
Yeah.
the people I'm getting are good. So that's I just have to like sit down and do that this week. But yeah, if you reach out to me on Twitter, I can definitely talk to you this week. So yeah, definitely that's something I'm gonna be working on at the end of the week before the CDL matches start up.
Well, cool. One more. So one question I see. We'll take this
We have
question from Returnal Presence
I
and
would say I have a
Chris's
good one in
chat.
my chat, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so any news if there will be a Breaking Point coaches power ranking poll, Austin?
Yeah, so I actually just made the thing, the poll last night.
Mhm.
Cause the way I do it is Google Forms, and I just send it out to everyone. So there will be one that will come out either on Thursday or Friday before the matches. Because honestly, that's like one of the things I miss the most is like not seeing all the scrims. So like I see obviously the BPL matches, but I have no clue how like the teams are stacking up, especially now that like no one streams them. So that's coming this week.
There you go.
I think based on some of the stuff I've heard, there might be one or two surprising teams in that ranking. I think. I'm curious what some of the
Who
coaches-
your teams are, bro? Come on, hit us quickly. who are your
did
surprises, man?
I think
Yeah.
my surprises? I think
Let's make some predictions
Seattle
for the poll.
From what I've heard
Uh-huh.
has looked pretty solid in scrims. And I'm curious where like Boston, Minnesota are going to rank in these rankings because I haven't heard a lot about Boston scrims or Minnesota scrims. I've heard some positive, some negative, but like I don't have enough sample size to know which way the wind is blowing on that.
Okay.
So I'm curious. I'm curious of like that and the bottom four, how it's all going to shake out ranking wise. I assume Chris, your team will probably gonna be near the fucking top. What they fucking do, but anyway, that'll come out later. Want to move on? We have 2 minutes. Last question. This is for you, Chris. And I know you're gonna fucking hate this question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. From Buff/the Cards on Twitter, having seen him play in scrims, Chris, is Simp going to have a good year?
Yes, every year is a good year for Simp. For the 90th time. Every year is a good year for Simp. Last year was a good year for Simp. If you think it was otherwise, you are dumb. That is all. Bro, we've had pro players come on this podcast and ask and like literally say like last year Simp was fucking godlike when you play against him. Like people just Yeah, every year is a good year for Simp. Like, I don't know. I know like people try and like have this like crazy narrative that it like he's. I don't know. I'm so tired of answering the same question.
It's funny because like if
Good.
you actually looked at his stats, like he was moving at like one of the fastest paces for
Yes.
for an SMG player, and like his like impact on the actual map is extremely important. And just because you look at a KD and say like, oh, his KD's middle of the pack, like his job wasn't to put up a 1.2 KD with an SMG. If he was doing that, it actually would have been like worse for the team because his job is not to go out there and get a good KD and make himself look good. His job is to make he makes every player around him so much better.
Stack
And like
W's.
that's like the
Yeah.
difference between a good and a great player, is like what you get out of your teammates as well. And
Yeah.
he's actually not selfish enough because he actually tries to help out when he shouldn't be. He like he's like too good at this game, honestly. Him and Tyler are gonna be disgusting this year.
It's Simp's 0.95, 0.99, 1.0 flat is not the same as most players' 1.0 flat. If Simp is dropping a 1.2, then like I mean, dude, it's just, I mean, bro, some people just, I mean, I don't really like saying this saying anymore, but like this, they don't know ball. Like, bro, like Simp's impact on the map is just, people just don't get it no matter what. And like the people that play against him know it. And that's really all that matters. But like, yeah, for anyone that tries to act like Simp, like had a bad year is just crazy. And it's just like, yeah, repetitive. I have to answer this every single time. But yes, I think Simp is going to have a very good year. And especially if it remains ARs wise, then he'll also probably have a crazy KD too, because he gets to fucking kill whore with an AR. Like everybody else that gets crazy KDs with ARs. Like, oh my God. So, yeah.
Just watching him on Kavutu used to be different, man. So
yeah,
I mean, bro, he was pulling out ARs in like Happy Yard and fucking
trust me.
Gun Runner, so.
But it's, I don't know.
I think we can end it on that. Chris, you want me to do the outro or you want to do the outro?
I'll do the outro. But yeah, so that's going to wrap it up. This is the third episode of the CDL 3/4 season of obviously MW3. We're getting very close to these matches. The next time that we do this podcast, matches will have happened, right? So
probably Monday. So we want to move to Monday or
Tuesday. So we're going to be doing this, and we're going to be uploading this. This is the actual. I'm actually uploading this to the Crowder CDL channel this time. I didn't do it last time. I'm actually going to upload it to the second channel this time. But everybody watching in all the Twitch chats, we appreciate you guys very much. Everybody that obviously shows so much love on all the audio and YouTube video of the podcast too. We appreciate you guys. Austin, aka EasyMac, thank you very much for being on here. Again. Before we end this, you have done an incredible thing for the community and everything else. I know you've gone through a lot of drama and stuff, and I was gonna tweet you, but then figured to have you on this and stuff and talk to you here. But like, yeah, dude, like everything you've done with the BPL has been a major success, and there's obviously gonna be like some like growing pains to it. But like, yeah, no, you're absolutely killing it. I appreciate you obviously being on the show, of course. But Ben, co-hosting the show with me as always, I'm very grateful for you, and thank you very much for producing it as always too. But yeah, Austin, if you have any last words to say, or if you want to say anything, you can. But other than that, I think we're done.
Yeah, no, just thank you guys for having me on, and thank you everyone for the support. Honestly, been a lot. It's been overwhelming, but hopefully we can have a good CDL year this year, and everyone rising tide raises all boats. But thank you guys.
Yeah, no problem, dude. I appreciate you having on again. Thank you. All right, that's a wrap.